Hi, welcome to PlugPea. In this video, I want to show you how you can design your Unity assets with PlugPea Editor easily. And in this example, I'm going to design a mesh by defining height and radius. So in this video, we're going to talk about how we can install the PlugPea, some basics about the PlugPea Editor and how you can use it to design your own Unity assets. First of all, I have saved this layout, so you can simply go to the layout, load layout from file, select the layout file and change the layout of your Unity. This will help you easily design with PlugPea. So first what we want to do is to put the PlugPea in our asset. As you can see here, I have the PlugPea here. So if you just right click here in the hierarchy, you can see that we have this PlugPea game object. You can change it. For example, I'm going to name it mesh from circles. And as you can see here, it's going to add a PlugPea script here. Okay, now let's design a circle inside this graph. So I'm going to click on this. You can right click here in the PlugPea graph and search for circle. And as you can see here, it's going to bring a circle inside the plane of the game object. Remember that this game object can be moved easily anywhere you want. If you want to tweak it again, you can just search for rotation. And because this is in the local plane, for example, if I rotate this, you can see that the circle is also going to rotate around the game object. You can always reset this or change the position or rotation easily. Okay, let's just delete that and go to the graph. If you want to change the radius, you can simply hit space and type a number and hit submit. And then you can give that to the radius. As you can see here, this is going to change the radius. We can right click and rename it to maybe radius 1 and hit apply. If I go back to the inspector and hit on my game object, I can select the enable editing here. So if I select the enable editing, you can see that the slider radius 1 is here, and this is the slider. So if I want to change the minimum maximum, just click on radius 1 and say, for example, from 1 to 10 and close this. So this slider is going to be from 1 to 10. Okay, now that I have this circle, if you hit on lock, it's going to be a constant number and you can't change it. And in the inspector, you can see that you don't have the sliders. This is a great way if you want to say that I want to change this in the inspector and design your own Unity assets for your game object. So let's go back and define a plane for this circle. So I'm going to right click and search for construct point. You can also find it from vector, point and construct point. And let's give a number slider to the Y. So for example, if I want to make a copy of this, I can hit on Control D and rename it maybe to height 1 and give this to the Y direction. If I change the Y, you can see that there is a point in the scene. So if you want to change the size, just hit on the game object, go to inspector and change the point size. So this point size is just for visualization. You can change that anytime for any graph. So let's go back here. And to make this, you can always turn off or on your graphs easily by hitting on this. And if I want to give a plane for this, I just go to vector plane and use this XZ plane, which is ground. I give this point here. And now I can give this XZ plane to the plane of circle. Okay, now easily I can change the height of the circle and the radius. And if I go back to the inspector and hit on the game object, you can see that I have the radius and height for this. Okay. Now let's go back here and make a copy of this. So I'm going to just select this and hit on Control D and bring it down. What I want to do here is to rename this to radius 2 and height 2. And you can see that I can change that here. Give it a name, new radius. And in the inspector, if I go here, you can see that we have the radius 1, height 1, radius 2, height 2, which we can change in the inspector. Let's go and add more circles. So I'm just going to make a copy of this. Again, Control D and bring it from the title down. And let's rename it again. And let's do that one more time. and rename it. And now that I have all of this in my game object, I can easily change that. If I want to make new circles, remember that the height of the first one, the second one, the third one, and the last one. You can change the radius here. And now we want to make a mesh from these. And now I can go and right click, select mesh, and mesh from polyline. And what you want to do is to give all the circles inside output circles to the curve. So I'm going to just add them here. And now I have a mesh. You can see you can turn on any of these graphs by hitting on the preview on and off. For example, if I want to turn on the circle, something like that. If you want to convert this into a mesh, just go and search for export mesh. And before we connect the mesh out to the mesh inputs, just rename it to something you want to have in the game object. So I want to make it like mesh from circles, and also change the color, so maybe to red. And I'm going to give the mesh output to the mesh here. As soon as we connect this, let's just turn this off. Go inside the game object. You can see that we have mesh from circles, and this is the mesh, and you can see it here. So what I wanted to do is to update this mesh easily. I can go back to my inspector game object, and as you can see here, I can change the mesh by changing these sliders. And remember that you can control any of these by just opening them and giving them a minimum and maximum value. Again, I want to add that you can always rotate or move the position by using these scripts. You can see that you can just rotate the plane and put them into a new plane by using this rotation, or just simply resetting and deleting this rotation script. You can always disable the editing so you don't have any sliders, or enable it, and change the point size if you want to see these points. And if you want to use this mesh and delete the graph, you can just bring the mesh out and your graph will not affect the mesh that was created. So if I just change these and bring it out, you can see that we have the mesh, but this is only affected by this graph. So we just change that here and produce that so I can bring it out again. Okay, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel so you get notified about our new tutorials and new tools we add to PlugPea Editor. And see you next time. Bye.